Welcome to the Civic Pulse with David Bonior and Brian Brady. We are on a Sunday, March 29th. David, how you feeling the day after the No Kings protest?
Pretty good. They had good crowds everywhere, so I'm feeling very good about that. We had about 300 people show up for our little town here, Prince Frederick, Maryland, which is just outside of D.C. And we had a good time. A lot of honking of horns and flipping of birds and all of that stuff. But it's part of the process, And the fact that that's growing. I mean, the first one, I think they had 3 million people. The last one they had in the fall of last year, October, I think, 7 million people around the country. And this one, they're saying all 50 states participated through 3,300 communities. And then some people think it might be as high as 7 million or even more. So that's a big show, and it's spreading all over the world. I mean, in Tokyo and Paris, Sydney, other places, they're picking up on this. So this has become a global phenomenon now.
Yeah, it's amazing how people estimated, somewhere between 5 and 10 million in the states protested, right? I was out in Chicago. Were you in an area where you actually got some Trumpsters honking?
Oh yeah, this area here is the Trump area. So definitely, we had actually people revving up their big man cars, with the big wheels and up, and then running on the main road. That we were all lined up along the main road, and they would come by and they would, and all that exhaust would come out. And then they'd flip us the bird and take off, and then they'd circle and come around again. But there were more people that were waving and were honking their horns and were supporting those who were demonstrating.
We're doing that's good. Yeah, I'm in the blue bubble, right? So I went downtown Chicago, and it was just a sea of blue, right? And no counter protest. I think when there's a few 100,000 people showing up, there's less there's less counter protests, right?
Yeah,
it'd be a little too scary. But it is, what do you think protests? I was trying to think that in some ways, the biggest thing they do is they're psychologically validating, right? That you're not alone in this, thinking this is a crazy time to be alive, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're very important for that reason. In fact, there was one sign that loneliness is a big problem in the world, not only in the United States, and people are speaking to that. But somebody had a sign that basically said, it's so bad out there that the introverts are out protesting.
Yeah, that's become a good joke inside the. I call myself. I'm kind of an introvert too. So the fact that I went out there, I left after about 30 minutes. I was like, okay, I did my duty.
Yeah. Where was it? Down in Grant Park or one of those places?
Down in Grant Park, and then they marched through the city and things. And so it's definitely something to do with friends, because it's a long hangout.
It is a long hangout. Yeah.
I took photos of all the funny signs, because there's some people who get
the signs are great. They're interesting. Yeah, and a lot of people now are dressing up in costumes, and but it's serious too, because people are addressing on those signs and through their appearance, being there, their concerns, and the signs say a lot about what they're concerned about too.
Yeah. So it's encouraging. Three big topics today. I think No Kings was a success. We showed ourselves, but I wanted to grill you on Congress, because this is a unique time in Congress, the Iran war and the Michigan primary race, and you are. Every month or so, you're the main guest, and so we want to mine your congressional wisdom and your 25 plus years in the House. It is a standoff between the same party in some ways, because you have Thune, who kind of just gave up, threw up his hands, and passed the bill to fund Homeland Security, fund the TSA and Homeland Security, except for the ICE and Border Patrol, right?
Right. And it passed unanimously in the Senate. I mean, I don't even think they had a vote on it. They just did it orally, as I recall. And so We got all I had to do is do that in this house, and these guys would have and women would have been paid at TSA in these lines. And people would start to have a sense of normalcy again, whatever that is in the world of flying on airplanes these days. But no, they decided that the House members that weren't part of it. So the Republicans, this is all a Republican battle before each other. They can't agree on anything.
Yeah.
And so this thing continues. And not only that, this used to really piss me off, excuse my expression, but it did when I was in the House. That, if we were stuck with something of this magnitude, you should stay. I mean, that's your job. Get it done before you go home on recess.
Yeah.
And here's the problem internally. I'll tell you from experience. What happens is these recesses, especially at the Easter break, are planned for families plan on taking and going somewhere.
Yeah.
And they will invest money in tickets or whatever it is, members of Congress, I'm talking about here, and they don't want to miss that. Well, this is more important. What war and peace, whether people can travel, whether they have to stand in line for 6 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is. So we've got to, the priorities are out of sync in this world of politics sometimes, and this is a good example of it. So I think they'll get it resolved, but boy, they just don't have great leadership either out of the White House, nor does it appear from the Republican congressional leadership. So it's a mess, and this mess is hurting them politically. There's no question about it.
You know Thune a little bit, right? I mean, because clearly there's a split. You played basketball with him. What do you think he's thinking here? Because he's kind of going against Trump and Mike Johnson on this.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's in charge of getting things done, and he's in charge of the Republicans in the Senate. And he finally came to the conclusion, so this is what we should do. So they all kind of said, okay, and it passed. The Democrats and the Republicans got it done in the Senate, but the House members are another breed.
More extreme because of gerrymandering, right?
I mean, that's been historically the way the House has always been perceived in our country. It's more, I don't want to say extreme, but it lends itself to this kind of behavior.
Well, you have also Thune might be in the minority. Well, he knows that Mike Johnson is most likely not going to be in power in about 8 months.
Yeah, very possibly. Yeah.
And so you wonder if some of the I'm done with this guy kind of attitude, right?
Well, I don't know. That isn't my world. I don't know what they talk about when they're at the country club. I just don't know what goes on with those folks. But
there's always a little tension between the Senate and the House, though, right? I mean, you can.
Yeah, there is just jealousy because, and there is tension because the House might have one position on things strongly, and the Senate might have the opposite. And then the chairmen of the respective committees in the Senate and the House might not get along.
So it might be
because they've had run-ins with each other. So there's a lot of possibilities for obstructionism and roadblocks along the way in the legislative process. That's not just native to the U.S. Congress. It happens in state legislatures. It's city councils. It's the way of politics. But we have a real international as well as a domestic crisis, and we need to address it more seriously because the world is on the brink now, and it's more than on the brink. It's stepped over the line, and we've got a huge regional war going on, and it could get worse. It's possible. I mean, here's a good example. Here's a link of where this is going. And we talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Zelensky sees this as an opportunity to help the Gulf states, right? Because Iran is attacking all these states or countries in the Gulf.
Yeah.
So and they're attacking them with this Shad drone,
Shahid drones, yeah.
which Iran has sold to Russia.
Yeah.
And Russia's been using them against Ukraine for like 4 years. So Ukraine is a very adaptive, smart country, and they figured out how to deal with this particular drone. So he says, "I'll teach you how to do it. In fact, I'll even give you or sell you because we have so many in surplus because we're using them so much." And so he's giving them the expertise. He said 200 advisors to these Gulf countries to teach them. He cut 3 contracts within a week and a half. With
Qatar, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and then the Emirates, those 3, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the Emirates. And in the Qatar, they're going to actually build these in Qatar. So there's going to be a link of actually building them and investing them. So Ukraine's going to come out of this,
As a
I think, in very good financial shape, and it gives them a little breathing room until they can get this guy in Hungary who's blocking. He's a member of the EU, the president of Hungary, Orban, and he's blocking this $90 billion loan that the EU is supposed to give Ukraine to, pick up the slack of the U.S. So we'll see how this. But what I'm saying is that we're not just talking about a Mideast war here. We're talking about a European implication here. We're talking about the U.S., of course, which is deep in all of this. And it takes some really thoughtful, serious thinking. Now, we don't get that out of the White House because, frankly, he's not a very, he knows very little history as a president.
Yeah.
And he's doing it on the cuff, one day after the next. And nobody has any faith in him anymore in our alliance. It's just terrible. And then, of course, all of this is raising, as you point out really well here, raising the price of oil, affordability for products in the grocery store and the gas for your car. All of that is still, it's going up, it's skyrocketing, and people can't afford it here. So there's this backlash against the administration on that, which there should be. So we've got double dose of chaos.
Just a quick note before we talk about oil. Hungarian election is April 12th, I see.
Yes, it is. It's right around the corner.
So that's an interesting note, because the next time we speak, they'll have had that election, and that could be a pivot.
That's tight. It's a tight election for the legislature there. So which would be a difference because he's controlled that place now for 15 years.
Yeah, I heard someone say he's down 20 points in the polls, but it's a parliamentary system, right?
So yeah, so you don't really know where those votes are and everything, but
will get stolen in certain areas.
Well, that's possible. It's
part of it too. So the oil is at 101 a barrel. I checked this morning, and the Dow is at 45,100, and I predicted 2 weeks ago that
you did.
To that number at 4,500 and 100, Trump's going to find the nearest off ramp. But I'm sure he's looking for it. And I'm sure J.D. Vance is the peacenik in that group, they say, is trying to usher him to it. But it's really hard to stop a war that once it's started, right?
Very, very hard. I think he's stuck. I think he may say in a week or so, well, I'm done. We got everything we did. We destroyed all of their Air Force, and we destroyed all of their, sites and da-da-da-da-da-da. But this war it's triggered. It's going on, and it's not just going to stop overnight. And the Iranians, evidently, we didn't get everything in Iran because they're hitting people, and they're hitting Israel as well. And so I suspect that we'll see more of this in the coming months.
If the U.S. says no more, or Trump does Netanyahu follow and say he's done? I mean, the war we're not seeing on TV is in Lebanon, where they're
terrible war in Lebanon, and Netanyahu wants to just pretty much demolish the place, especially southern Lebanon, which has been a problem for Israel. in terms of the attacks on it, on Israel from there, from down by the Litani River and those places that I've actually been to. I was there, it was a long time ago. It was almost 35, 40 years ago. But it's anyway, yeah, so.
And you're not getting the work. Where do you pick up your war news, David? Is it? It's really hard to get news on what's actually happening from the American media. Do you go to alternative sources to figure it out? How do you do it?
I do. I mean, in the Ukraine war, I get alternative sources of reporters from Ukraine. I listen to and some international reporters, but The Guardian, I read regularly, and the New York Times is U.S. publications, and this David Ignatius writes pretty well about this at the Washington Post. So yeah, I have different sources and I have friends who send me things from different areas. There are institutes around the world, a lot of them in the U.S. that are constantly monitoring and following. And in London and in Great Britain, for instance, they've devised ways to track, because nothing is coming out of Russia. It's a closed society. So they're trying to figure out ways how many Russians have been killed or maimed in this war. So on the killing, how many have been killed in the Russian-Ukrainian war? They've devised a way to monitor the local newspapers throughout Russia and look at the obituaries. And they have a number that will correlate to what it is. For instance, if they find 500 killed this month in local newspapers, they know the multiplier of that is 7. So it might be 3,500 that were killed. So they've had enough experience and enough data that shows how to do this. And so I get my numbers from this London source that does this. I think they're related to the BBC in some way as well.
I encourage people to look at Al Jazeera a little bit, because they're at least tracking the number of deaths and attacks everywhere. And much more detailed than any American media I can see.
Right. Oh, the American media is not really. I mean, there are some generals in the U.S. that are pretty good. I kind of tune them in because they're frank about it as well. They're mostly retired generals and colonels.
They take the frankness pill after they retire.
Yeah. But they know this stuff and they know it well. So.
And you have the Houthis joining this war, and they control another strait that we don't talk about. I can't pronounce it, but that a lot of the global traffic goes through. So you have 2 narrow straits, right?
Right.
That are in doubt. So they're meeting in Pakistan this week.
Right.
And Trump is going to be looking for but does he just declare victory even if he can't get a real negotiation going?
I think he will, because he does get bored with things, so he might be had it with this and maybe want to get on to something else. I wouldn't be surprised if he did say 2 weeks, like he threw his hands up. Ukraine, that's your problem, it's not mine. He sold out. He sold out probably the strongest military political country in Europe, Ukraine.
Yeah, and that's
got to be stronger now because of this war. He sold them out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, David, put your whip. You were the whip in Congress for a while. How many years were you whip again?
I was 11 years.
11 years. That's a long time. Let's say the House. You have all these issues. You have the war. You have the domestic. You have ICE rampaging communities. There's so many issues. The insane grift. Trump's net worth is now up to $6.5 billion. He's added over $5 billion to his bank account since in the last year as president. Let's say you're speaker. You have even more power in 2027. what are your 3 or 4 agenda items with the majority in the House? And let's say you got a 51 vote lead in the Senate too. So you actually have the ability to move both chambers if you can draw everybody. What would you focus on come January?
I would focus on giving back the people their voice so they can determine their own path. They don't have it now. It's closed. And I would make sure that affordability becomes an issue that is constant in the decision making that's done throughout the term of the Congress. That becomes so locked into people's head. It's the economy, stupid, if I might. And you keep your focus on the pocketbook issues that people have to face every day on healthcare, on energy, on wages, on the right to bargain for wages and be represented. All of those basic things are very key. So that's first. Secondly, and I'm right behind it, is cleaning up the corruption. The corruption is rampant.
Yeah.
And what we find out on respect to, we know what Trump's been up to with his son-in-law and others, and the deals they've cut with many of them leaders in the Middle East. We know how much money they're taking in, and we need to look at that and clean that up. It's really bad. I think it's worse than what it is in Russia and maybe in some extent what it used to be in Ukraine. Not so much anymore. So that the corruption is a terrible drag on the democracy. It can just destroy you quicker than you can, say Jack Robinson. I mean, it can just destroy you. And so we need to clean that up and give the country back the voice, though, in the democratic process. And now, how do you make the Congress work? Well, it depends on what your margins are.
Let's say you got a 20 vote margin or something, 20-30 in the House and 1 in the Senate.
That's easier to work with in the House, but in the Senate, you need a margin in the House because at any given time, you don't know who's going to be sick, who's not going to show up for work.
Yeah,
they're finding that out, and you always have some people who are off the reservation on what you want to do. So you need to have a margin of 20, 25 anyway, 30 votes. In the Senate, it's even tougher.
Yeah.
I mean, one person walks, and it can be more difficult. But you can get things done easier in the Senate. They have, other than that stupid filibuster, I'd get rid of that thing like that.
You're saying you need a big economic package that has a fun name like decent fair wages for all, or
Right.
a real opportunity for everybody. What's in that package? Is it equalizing the tax structures? Is it healthcare? Is it?
Well, you got to make the healthcare available to they get these subsidies that they've taken away now from people. That's huge. That's it's putting literally millions of Americans out of health coverage.
Yeah.
You have to renew that. You have to cover more people. I'm a person who would be for Medicare for all. Basically what Bernie Sanders wants to do. But we'll see whether they have the votes for that. So healthcare is very, very key and very important. Also, the right to organize. That's been taken away. And we know that unions are becoming more and more popular. We know from the polling data, people are looking to unions to help them and survive in these difficult economic times. But yet it's very hard to form a union in the United States and to get recognition, because there is a whole industry over the last 40 years that's been built, 50 years, that's been built up to stop that from happening along the way, throwing basically it's corporate run, and anti-union, anti-organizing world out there. So that you need to do. I think you need to be more we need to get done. If we can do this, we need to get a bill that will deal with the whole question of, I mean, I've just had a blank.
I'll jump in with my one that's probably not on your radar. Is I think we need a pro-human policy around AI, because I see AI is starting to get to the point where it's going to cause massive layoffs. And so the Democrats need to get ahead on that issue, I think, and say, hey,
yes,
not.
We need that. That is important as anything that I've mentioned is the AI thing, getting a grasp of that, finding out the mechanisms of government that can do the guardrails that are necessary so we don't end up like we did in the whole question of, the internet thing, where social media thing, where kids are being exposed. We need to have those in place. Now, we're not going to get it perfect because it's going to evolve over time, but we have to have something there. And I would lean to you because you know this stuff really well, and I talk to people like yourselves and others who have worked with this, because it's difficult.
A guy I was talking to who's very pro AI. He just started talking about, thinking is just a cognitive token. He goes, humans aren't very efficient cognitive tokens. The AI. I was like, if you're already talking about cognitive tokens and being humans being replaceable, that it's a sign of things to come. That there's guys out there who really don't care if they lay off 1 million humans, right, and lose their job, if they're going to make some money. So it's an interesting, scary time, I think, with AI at the moment. Let's get again.
Immigration reform was the one that
immigration reform for sure, and finding a way to. It seems like you got to have what you're saying is strong investigations using the subpoena power to go after the corruption, and then have a big middle class, working class bill economic agenda.
Right.
That's almost like a Project 2027 for Democrats, right?
We know what will work pretty much from history in the economic realm if we have the strength to do it politically, we have the votes to do it. But we'll see. But the other, the AI thing, we're just going to have to figure that out as we go along and try to do the best we can with it, because I don't think anybody has any real clear answers on that right now.
Well, let's turn to winning the Michigan Senate race, which, one of the miracles of the last election that I think was that all these Democrats, in the swing states, Democratic senators squeaked by while Harris lost, right? And one of them was Alyssa Slotkin, who went on Bill Maher this week and said, Democrats have to show alpha energy. We have to be simple in our language. And the voters want us to take charge and be simple and get things done. They want a new relationship. And so Slotkin won, and is a pretty savvy politician there. Who is the Slotkin that can win in this upcoming race against, the incumbent senator there in Michigan? I think it's Rogers, right?
Well, he's not the incumbent. It's an open seat. It was Gary Peters.
Oh, it's Gary Peters. Yeah, Rogers.
He's retiring. Well,
yeah.
Rogers was a House member, and he's running. He'll be the Republican candidate.
So you have three Democrats, right? El Said, Dr. El Said. Haley Stevens,
Haley Stevens, and
McMorrow, who's sort of a social media star, came viral and has built a following. A really angry rant. I a very good angry ranter.
Yeah. Well, there are three candidates, and they're very close in the polls today. All three of them. So any of the three could actually win it. Stevens is very close to the APAC community, which used to be a huge advantage, but now might be an albatross. We don't know.
Yeah,
because people are not crazy about them. The McMorrow, I don't know where her strength lies. I suspect it's from she's a state senator. So, and she said, and she also is a media star of sorts. But most people outside probably her state senate district don't know her in the state, and so she's raising a good amount of money. So she's definitely going to be competitive. I think the in honest to be honest in terms of who I'm for, I'll tell you right now, I'm for the doctor. I think we need a Democratic doctor, first of all, in the U.S. Senate. It will help on a lot of different issues. Yeah. And he's a good doctor, and he's a civic-oriented guy. So Dr. Saeed, I think, would be a great representative in the U.S. Senate, and we'll see what happens.
Kind of Bernie comes from the Bernie school.
Bernie, yeah, he's from the Sanders world, and he's Sanders' candidate here. He's actually mine as well. So no, there are disagreements. Even I have very close friends who are for other people in this race, but I just think we need somebody strong, smart, and committed, and I think he would be the best of the three.
Yeah, I've heard him interviewed, and he's a brilliant guy.
He's a smart man. Yeah.
Yeah. You just wonder if the Islamophobia that does exist out there.
Well, yeah, he's got to, he's got to deal with all of that, and but we have a number of people that are in elective office around our country who, in fact, there are many actually in the Congress who are followers of Islam.
Yeah, we have to bring on your Michigan friends to break this race down for us. Is the primary in August?
Primary's in August.
Okay, so we got a couple months to figure this out.
So you've got that's all you have really. You got April, May, and July. 4 months.
Yeah,
and figure that out, and then it's relatively soon afterwards. You're into November. You got 3.5 months. Then you're into November. So the election.
I like the Illinois way. You get your primary done early, get it done in March, and then
Illinois actually, it's a good way. But Illinois was too early before. Yeah. You had to, as you remember, in Illinois, you had to file as a candidate the previous year.
It favors incumbents when
it does. Yeah. So they've changed that.
Chicago way. Favor the incumbent, right? Hey, let's finish on the basketball here because it's a good distraction. You follow both the women's game and the men's.
I do.
Basketball. Give us the women's college basketball breakdown here. Who's gonna win the title? You think, and who has a
I think Notre Dame plays Connecticut in the women's. I think they maybe even play today. And Connecticut is undefeated, and they're very, very good. I don't see anybody touching them. I think they'll go all the way. That's my prediction. But
Notre Dame has a star player though who lit it up last time, right? I think I saw that.
Yeah, I can't remember her name right now, but yeah. And there's some other teams like South Carolina always has a good team, and a few others. My Iowa Hawkeyes were in the top 10, and but they were beat. They lost the Big Ten championship tournament game to UCLA.
Oh, okay.
Not only did they lose, they lost by almost 50 points.
Oh, jeez.
And it kind of just drained the confidence out of the team. So in this big tournament, the national tournament, the big dance, they were beat just the other day by University of Virginia. So they didn't make it into the finals, but they just didn't have it. It was just sapped out of them. You could tell by watching.
Confidence is big, especially when you get a more. I don't know. You remember standing on a basketball court. If you're lining up against someone who's a little bigger than you and a little faster and can jump a little higher, it's hard to keep your confidence.
I know. Yes, indeed. But
I'm going to have to come up with some new moves here.
But if you got confidence and you're hot and you're out there, you can shoot that rock and it will go in. I mean, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
High school pros, whatever. I mean, somebody you can tell is on fire. They're on fire.
That's the fun thing about basketball. The long distance shooting can really change it.
Yeah.
Well, I got Illinois on the men's side is
Very good team. They beat the Iowa yesterday, who was on a run,
yeah,
and for a spot in the big Final Four.
yeah.
Out of these 68 teams, you get down to 4, and they made it. So I was very impressed with this freshman Wagler for Illinois. He's fabulous. He had 25 points last night.
They had a good standoff because Iowa has a great guard. What's his name? Sturts?
Yeah, Bennett Stearns.
Yeah.
He's great. He's going to be #1 draft choice in the NBA. No question about it. Because he's so smart. He's so versatile in his shooting.
Yeah.
And he's a good size. I mean, he's I think about 6'5". He's a guard. So, but these guys that are 7 foot now can shoot that 3.
It's become a different game. Yeah. The small forward position is now 6'10".
Yeah.
It used to be the center. But you also have Duke out there. You have Arizona.
Yeah, they're
good. You like in this final?
Well, Duke is steady, so I think you got to look at them. I haven't seen Arizona play, so I can't comment on them. But they have a great record, and they were #1 seed in their region, I think. Connecticut's still in it,
and Michigan's still out there too.
Good team too. So they got to, I think, win today to get into the Final Four. So and Michigan has a chance to get in there too. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that have a shot still. Illinois is in.
Yeah,
Illinois team is
they're big.
They have their coach is recruited out of Eastern Europe. He gets these big guys. The Stojakovic,
Vicevic and Marakovic
and all the Viches. Every which way you turn, they're there. And they're very big and good. The Serbians have good ball players, good basketball players too. So he's got a whole.
Was a kid of that NBA player Stojakovic, and
his father played. Yeah,
his father played. Who was a great shooter, and the kid inherited the shot. What is it about shooting that you can? Seems like you can pass that in your DNA. The Curry family and.
Has the Curry family done that?
Yeah. Well, the best 3-point shooter, and when I was growing up, was Curry. Was not Steph Curry, but his dad, Del Curry, who played for Charlotte, and he was the best 3-point shooter of his era, and his kid is the best 3-point shooter of all time. So it's something about the elbow.
Yeah.
I did not inherit that. I was a bricklayer on my 3-point shot. Once in a while I'd get hot, but it was very rare.
Well, when I played in high school, and then I played in college for 1 year at Iowa, a little bit second year, but I wasn't going to play, so I was on the football team. So you can't do everything. You're there to study, actually. So I left. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, when I was in high school, I occasionally would get hot. You just get it in my head and so I've had that feeling, so I know what that's like. It's wonderful.
There's nothing better than getting hot in a sport.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while for me though.
But you were football, right? Too.
I actually did all 3 for a while. I kind of peaked as like a 13-year-old. I was a 13-year-old star, and then kind of went all downhill from there.
No, but you played football in high school. You were a defensive back, right?
Yeah, I did a little defense, which I was playing quarterback. It's much more fun to hit people, though. I really enjoyed hitting people.
Oh, boy.
On that, well, David, it's great to see you. Hopefully we'll be out more in 2 weeks when we talk again. And
let's see what's going on and how this is all. Hopefully the workers will get paid at TSA. And this war they'll have some progress in peace discussions in Pakistan, and they'll be able to find a path for people to get off.
Well, and Pope Leo yesterday said that
he was very strong.
Yeah, if you start wars, God doesn't listen to your prayers. So
right.
Maybe
that was a reaction to something Trump said. So
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He's getting tough. It's
Yeah.
hopefully that influence will have an effect.
Yeah.
Well, have a great Sunday, David.
Good to see you. All the best to you.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.